welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Everything Horror Podcast. My name is Paul Doski, and, well, I hate to say it, but it's just me, and everybody's down in the dump. I just wanted to just let you know that everybody just decided, you know what, screw it. They just didn't want to do it, and then they just left. Now I'm just here talking about it. Did I get you? April Fools! Yeah, I know, that was kind of stupid. Anyway, so without further ado, I am joined by my lovely fiance,
Tessa Baker.
And we also have the lovely co-assistant,
Stacy Cox.
And we are here to blow your mind. No, just calm down. Just calm down. Anyway, thank you. Haha, I know, that was a horrible April Fool. My bad. I thought it would be something cool because it was April Fool's. And not only is it April Fool's, but we're going to be talking about April Fool's Day, the 1986 film. So, let's get this started. So, my first impression of April Fool's Day, well, after not seeing it for so long and refreshing it for like the second time now, because as you're hearing this episode, this is actually the second time we're trying to record this episode, because the first time around,
we butchered it.
We butchered the episode so
there
bad.
There were so many ums and uhs and
Wait, what?
I don't know.
And weird, uncomfortable laughter, like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
We remember with the boat scene, which, Stacey. So my first impression was after not seeing it twice now, after not seeing it for a very long time, it now finally clicked in my head of what scenes were coming up, because as I was trying to do stuff too in the kitchen, and Tessa was taking notes while I was doing other things, because God forbid our cat couldn't shut the fuck up for a minute. But especially our cat Obi, who had to have his
just call it a temper tantrum.
Yeah, temper tantrum of something. And anyway, that had to get taken care of. And then as it was playing out, I was actually telling Tessa, so this is this scene, right? And this thing, and this is just about to happen. And then sure enough, I'm right. So thank God. So now I think I have a better memory than 2 days ago when we originally were trying to do this recording. Because holy crap. Anyway, so I honestly forgot the movie. And after seeing it for my first time before, I think if I basically forgot how it went and had to rewatch it just to relive like I watched it the first time, I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure. I mean, usually that means it's pretty bad if I don't remember a movie, but in this case, I honestly don't even remember the first time I saw it. But I know I've seen it before. Anyway, that's basically my first impression. Is that basically I look at it as for the third time watching or second time rewatching the film, I have a better understanding of the movie than I did 2 days ago. So Tessa, how about you? Let's start with you a little bit. What about you for your we'll just say first impressions?
First impressions for revisiting the film after not seeing it for a long ass time. I do remember bits and pieces of it from the first time that I ever watched it. So some of it was familiar to me, and most of it I did forget how it went. So it was interesting to revisit it after so many years and see how it actually played out. So I think after seeing it a second time, or third time now, because like Paul said, we rewatched it twice because we butchered our first taping of it for the episode. So, so we definitely took out the notebook this time. We actually took like 2 pages of notes.
Just 3 pages if you count the other side too.
Yeah, technically 3 pages of notes. So yeah, we're prepared this time.
That's right. So Stacy, how about you? What was your first impressions of this movie? Or section now?
Yeah, so same here. After not a great start 2 days ago or a great watch, rewatched it again, got the notepad out, and I will say that definitely a better understanding of everything that happened. You know, everything we tried to talk about 2 days ago, and I'm just like, that must have been the part I walked out on. So now, and I say that I love it. It's really good.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those movies that you definitely appreciate especially for an '80s film, and I got to clap for it too because it's like I was saying 2 days ago, sort of. Like this is one of those other movies where it acts just as good as not seeing the killing until later on. Where we get to see like some of the old classic stuff where like I think I was mentioning Black Christmas, like the original anyway, where we get this first person aspect, kind of like Friday the 13th as well, where we see the killer kind of walk up and is about to do something to their victim. Or if it's Black Christmas, we kind of see a little bit of what's about to happen. But it's nice to really kind of see that approach. Like, as everybody gets knocked off in April Fool's Day here, we kind of get to see that little bit of a first-person, third-person sort of feel of, like, that little bit. Even though it seems we only get to see, like, the bottom part of the person where we see like the blue jeans and some shoes, so we don't really know who it is. And I like that type of stuff because it builds up the mystery, and then when you finally know what goes on at the very end of the film, I think the first thing that I would try to even do was, okay, who's got the blue jeans and the shoes, even though it was kind of hard to figure it out.
And he was legitimately sitting there trying to look to see who had blue jeans and the shoes.
Yeah, but I think they tried to switch it up a little bit, like at the end, because
probably changed their clothes or something.
Well, nobody was wearing the shoes that I could tell that I was looking for. So whether they put them off or what, I'm not sure. But there was some ideas of who it could have been, though, for sure. Let's see here. So let's start off by a little bit of the beginning here, where everybody's finally meeting each other, which is like Nikki, Chaz, Kit, Arch, Skip, Harvey, the ferryman, Muffy. Muffy's not there yet. Nan and Rob. So we finally kind of see and understand that everybody knows each other from like school of some sort or some specific class from the college. And from there, they are getting onto a ferry so they can get to the designated location where Muffy is awaiting them. And as we find out that down the road is, well, it is April Fool's Day in the film, and to make a little bit of note, what we think is the real first thing, because Arch and Skip are trying to play like this nice game of some sort or whatever, and Arch is kind of getting fed up and throws the knife to Skip, and at one point it's like, oh god, Skip just got stabbed
in the gut with a knife.
And Arch is now in like shock mode while everybody else basically dives into the water to find Skip because of this encounter or this incident, this accident, whatever you want to call it. But instead, it's actually a fake knife and some practical effects, and they end up getting their April Fool's joke on everybody.
Yeah, because Rob and Buck are the ones that ended up jumping into the water trying to save Skip. Yeah. So they got all soaking wet, so joke was on them at that point.
Ho, ho, ho. And I don't think this part will be any more justice than what Stacy knew 2 days ago and all she could remember. So, Stacy, what happens next after this first incident where we actually think is an actual accident?
On the ferry.
Yeah. You talk about after the knife scene?
Yes.
So, my favorite scene where where was it Skip who got his face severed by the boat, the propellers on the boat?
No, that was Buck.
Buck. I keep forgetting about Buck. I keep forgetting he's even a character. Yes, Buck. That is my favorite scene. So that's the next thing that happens.
Yes. And that's when the ferryman is trying to warn Buck, and like...
as the boat's backing up to the dock, and Buck's in the water with the rope to try to throw up onto the dock to kind of... hitch the boat to the dock, and he doesn't clear the way in time, and well,
he loses an eye and takes out part of his shoulder, I guess.
And it's actually funny the way he just got up. Was I the only one who laughed at that part when he got up from underwater?
Oh, right. That's
sorry.
right. That's what we're wondering.
I'm sorry, but I was like, oh, that's brutal. But then at the same time, it was so funny the way he just jumped up and just screamed. I'm like, ew.
And how about the way the ferryman just throws him onto the boat before taking off with the constable's boat there? That was funny, too.
Yeah.
Just gonna schlub you on the boat.
Right, exactly.
Out at you.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering why he was even alive after that. But of course, now we know. But, first watching it, it's like, wait, how did he survive that?
How did only that much damage? Yeah.
That was a lot of damage. I mean, like...
A lot of damage to be able to surface after that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, like, how come... his wound should have been a lot worse, for sure. But, yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't know. It's the 80s, I guess. So, moving on.
So, Buck and Cal speed off on Constable Potter's boat, and Constable Potter's goes to Muffy, and Muffy's like, "Oh, what happened?" And Constable's like, "I need to borrow your boat. I need to get back to shore. I need to see to this." Blah blah blah.
Well,
blah.
before that, he's kind of saying it's the prank. Ask your stupid friend or something because of the pranks and whatever. And yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. So he borrows Muffy's boat to go deal with things, and he's like, "Well, if anything happens to Buck, I'll know where to find everybody."
Yeah.
And then he goes off, and then everybody else goes back to Muffy's house, and they get up to Muffy's house and
basically prepare themselves for the dinner.
Which the tablescape of the dinner is pretty interesting because everybody has place cards and designated Barbie dolls that look like them, which was kind of interesting and creepy at the same time. But yeah.
Yep, and there was some more April Fool's going on too. Yeah. Like Nan sat down on a whoopee cushion.
Yep, Nan sat down on a whoopee cushion, and then
Muffy had her own play. Oh no, sorry, before that.
Arch had a weird chair that was like a practical joke chair, which would eject him from it.
Basically, yeah.
We're gonna spill your ass out of this chair.
Basically, it would move the back of its leg, basically, and just have him roll off the chair.
So there was some practical joking going on in the house.
Yeah, and then we top it off with the toast of Muffy's little trick as well.
Yeah, her little trick glasses, which made everybody wear
the champagne. Yes, but speaking of the dinner, who was not present at the dinner?
Skip was not at dinner. He was angry and piss drunk.
That's right.
Not to be seen at the dinner table.
That's right. So, Stacey, what do you have next on your note? Do you have anything for after the dinner and all this? Do you recall what everybody found in their room?
So, I remember the bedroom scene where was that Rob who found that article?
Mm-hmm. No, Harv.
That was hard. I gotta get better at these names. That was Harv who found the article, and I think was it a dead dog article, or what kind of article was that he found?
It was like an accident, like an auto accident or something.
Where Six died.
Fog
okay.
In it, yeah.
And yes, and then there was something that happened where, like, some kind of fireworks or explosion. I remember that.
Oh, that was the
crash, the accident, Fury crash.
No. I think it was Harv, where
it was a practical joke cigar where it blew up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. And then we get to the bathroom scene with the trick sink where the water just kind of splurts everywhere.
Nikki's face.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then what about the creepy eyes behind that painting? It turned out to be like a cat clock or something on the wall.
Oh yeah, for Kit and Rob.
Yeah, Kit
Who
and Rob.
has that on their wall?
Muffy does?
Yeah, Muffy does. Oh man. And then there's the crying baby tape recorder.
That was Nan. Yep.
Yes, the crying baby tape recorder. There's that. Wait a minute, what happened to Nan after that? Like, was it
after the tape, you mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like she just disappeared or something. But didn't was that her that was like, oh, I'm getting way ahead. So wait, we'll keep going. No, yeah. So then there's the crying baby tape recorder. Yeah, so those like different like things that people kind of like find in their rooms.
Nikki also found bondage stuff in her drawer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, S&M stuff, and Arch also
found some sort of like supply for possibly, I don't know if it was for heroin or coke or what, but we kind of feel like that like a drug use thing going on here.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, and that's really about it from what everybody kind of found. And also to go back a little bit with Harvey with the news clip, and Chad was trying to check on Harv or something, and Harv kind of had like a little mini panic attack because it was almost like he didn't want anybody to see the newspaper clippings.
Yeah.
So he shoved them into the drawer. So so later on, Chaz kind of remembers that, but we'll talk about that later. But
and you know, I think it was maybe because the lack in like kind of backstories that I didn't really put two and two together on, you know, why like they found the stuff and then they kind of like freaked out. I mean, of course you could tell it had something to do with like personal wise, but I think that movie kind of needed some backstory there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think backstory would have helped it a little bit.
Oh, a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, he finds his article. What's wrong with him? Why? Like, what's the story with the article? I wanted to know what that whole deal was. And then, like, the crying baby tape recorder, like, what was that about?
Even if they like somehow incorporated like some sort of like, I don't know, flashbacks for the individuals, like a short flashback or something.
Well, you guys are, I think, forgetting a little bit too. Yes, it would be nice for the flashback, but we do sort of have an idea of what was going on with Nan with the baby tape, and sort of have a weird thing that's kind of mentioned later on with Chad yelling at Harvey yelling at Chad when Chad was trying to confront Harv about him stumbling on Chad when he put the newspaper clippings in the drawer, but Chad didn't know that. But anyway, we'll get to that too, but that might help a little bit as well. So what comes next, Tessa, after everybody finds their own stuff? It would be the next morning, right? Or
no, not yet.
Okay, well, what do you have for your notes?
Skip, and we see Skip by himself going off to the boathouse later that night.
Yep.
And he goes into the boathouse looking to like smoke weed or something to kind of mellow out, and keep in mind he's still pissed drunk. And he's like, well, hello, is there anybody there? Gets a cat, attacks his, like, jumps at him, and then you see, like, somebody grab him. And that's, like, the last time that we see Skip alive. So Skip is technically
the first one to go.
The first one to disappear.
Yes.
So we go to the next morning, and Kit is talking to Nikki, and she's kind of like, I had a bad dream about Buck. And Muffy's in the kitchen. She's making breakfast. She's disheveled. She's not even dressed.
She kind of like panics herself because she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
I must look terrible. Let me go get dressed. Blah blah blah. I wanted to make some food. I was hungry." Blah.
Yeah, that was about it. And then she kind of storms out upstairs, and then we get, I believe it was Harvey, or no, maybe it was Art that said that line, that cheesy line of like, I wonder who made her night, sort of thing.
That was Art.
That was Art.
Mm-hmm.
Kit and Rob.
So Kit and Rob go off on their own while everybody. Kit and Rob go off on their own while everybody else is like either playing like ball in the yard, or Nan is like studying, and Muffy's going off to do her own thing. And Kit and Rob go off to make out in the boathouse. Anyways. So they start to like get like
hot and heavy
on the Just stop it. I apologize for added sound effects over here.
Yeah.
Jesus. I think he's getting more worked up about this than Stacy and I are. Anyways,
Anyway,
are you trying to like hint at something?
No, I am not. I'm just trying to make this more interesting.
No, Jesus. Anyways, so Kit and Rob are making out on the floor of the boathouse, and Kit and Rob both notice Skip's body underneath the floorboards of the boathouse, just cruising on by. And
why did the ghost? What throat?
Doesn't look like he's alive or moving or anything, and they freak out and
run.
Rob thinks it's a practical joke at first. Kit, not so much. So they all run back up to the house, and they're like, "Have you guys seen Skip? When's the last time anybody saw Skip? Blah blah blah." And we just saw him down at the boathouse underneath the floorboards. He's white as a ghost. He's not moving. We think he's dead. So Chaz and Arch offer to go off and help Rob try to locate Skip.
Mm-hmm.
And Kit stays behind at the house with everybody else. So
from there, they're trying to look for Skip, which it was Rob, Arch, and
Chaz. Yeah, I just said.
Yep. So from there.
So from there we get
Chad finds Skip's knife.
Yep. Chaz finds Skip's knife from the prank, but no Skip. And meanwhile, back at the house, Nan finally confronts Muffy about the tape. Oh, is this why you brought me here? I thought you wanted to be friends. How could you know? Did one of your preppy friends tell you? You know, she was clearly very upset and had every right to be. So the tape is something having to do with Nan having an abortion.
Which Harv overheard.
Which Harv was in the hallway and overheard it. So after that whole scene plays out, Nan is last seen in the garden, very much upset, crushing dead flowers in her hands. And that's the last time that we see Nan. So then we move forward, and Arch goes into the woods, and he's looking for Skip in the woods, and he stumbles onto this tree trap, which pretty much ends up suspending him in the air, hanging upside down, with a snake trying to bite his face.
That's right.
Arch notices that he sees somebody, and he has this look of like, oh my God, it's you look on his face. And before,
I wish whoever it was nice enough to, just
kick the snake out of the way. Yeah, that was nice of him. And then that's like the last time that we see
Arch.
So
Stacy, what happens next after Arch disappearance? Back at the house, when everybody notices that Arch is not back yet.
I believe this is when they're kind of all back in like the living room, and they're noticing things are getting crazy. And isn't this when everybody thinks like things are getting crazy, and then that's when they start to kind of blame Muffy, right?
Not quite. Not yet.
Even though Muffy does
Everybody notices that Muffy's starting to have a weird behavior, though.
Yeah.
But first, before that happens, Muffy's like, you should have some tea. It'll calm your nerves. So...
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Tessa, let's make some tea. Go make some tea for everybody, right? You got your specialty, right?
Yeah, it'll calm your nerves for sure.
Hey, Sticky, do you want some of this tea that will help calm your nerves, Tessa?
It'll mellow you right out. You won't feel a thing. I mean, what? Wait, what?
See, that's the type of tea I want right there.
Anyways, so
I'll take 2 cups.
So Kit and Muffy are in the kitchen, and they're trying to prepare tea for everybody to kind of help everybody relax. And Kit goes to turn on the water in the kitchen, and this sludgy, muddy crap comes out of the faucet. And Muffy's like, "Oh, I think the water main broke, but we still have a well." So Nikki's like, "Okay, point me in the direction of the well. I'll go get some water." And Harv's like, "Not without me, you're not." So
from there, Stacy, what happened? Because I asked you about this 2 days ago. So let's see if you were paying attention. So what happened at the well?
This is where Nikki and Harv, they go down to the well to get some water, and but the bucket is like rusted or whatever. It drops down in. So then Nikki's like, okay, you're going to have to go in and get some water. And he's like, no. So she goes in, and then she, like the very last stair or whatever, she falls in. And then that's when she notices the head of, was that the head of Skip?
Yeah.
The head of Skip. And then the body of Skip and Arch. Yeah, and then there was a body. I'm trying to remember whose body that. Nan! Yeah, so that's what I was talking about earlier when I was like, I'm getting way ahead. So yeah, that's when she notices that their heads and Nan's body. And then they go fleeing off.
So back at the house, Kit is trying to calm Nikki down, and Nikki's clearly traumatized. Muffy brings in a glass of water, which Nikki...
was bottled.
Which was Perrier. Which Nikki freaks out at first, like, oh my god, not the water. And she goes, relax, it's Perrier. So, okay. Fucking sparkling mineral water or whatever you want to fucking call it. Anyway.
Sparkly Rose!
Jesus. So, shortly after that, they're all in the living room, and Rob receives a phone call from...
Constable.
And how do you think that phone call went on the phone there, babe?
Not so great. Because, supposedly, the constable was at the hospital with Buck and Muffy. But, wait a minute. Muffy is at the house in the group right now with everybody around. So
how can Muffy be in two places at once? Anyways, so this is, I think this is where you were going, Stacy. This was where you were starting to go. Everybody's in the living room.
Yeah.
Freaking out and panicking. What happens next?
Yeah, so everybody's figuring out and panicking, and then that's when they're starting to suspect Muffy has gone cuckoo. And then Muffy comes out, and she's like, I'm going to bed. This is my home. I'm going to bed. But I believe it's Rob who's like, we should all stick together. And she says, no, this is my house. I'm going to my room. She goes up to her room. And then Nikki storms off. She's had enough. She's getting her clothes ready and everything to leave out. And then, hold on, another name fart.
Chaz is trying to calm her.
Right. Chaz is trying to calm her. And he's trying to...
What?
And he starts using those masks, those S&M masks or whatever that was in the room. To like kind of turn her on and seduce her, and she's just like, "Oh, get away from me! I've had it with you. Like I'm gone, I'm leaving." And then like,
time for you to be trying to seduce me,
right? And then mysteriously, like after she storms off, mysteriously, something happens to Chaz.
Chaz is laying on the bed wearing one of the S&M masks last we seen, and Nikki storms off out of the room, and then she comes back in. And she proceeds to start to try to talk to Chaz, only to find what?
That he's been stabbed, right? He's been stabbed.
Yeah, where was he stabbed?
In his pecker.
Oh! Oh, man!
Ouch!
What a place to be stabbed!
Right. Right there in his
right off.
Right there in his pecker. And, yeah.
How's that for S&M for you, Chaz?
Oof. Yeah. How you like that smell?
Oh my god. Oh. So after that, and everybody's trying to like well, actually, I wanna back up for a second because I want to mention a couple of things. Before everybody goes to storm off or go off to wherever, while they're securing the house, Kit goes into Muffy's father's study, and she finds a picture of two little girls.
Yep.
So Muffy comes in to find her with this photo, and like Kit's like, I hope the constable gets here soon so we can like all get out of here and this nightmare will be over type of deal. And Muffy makes the comment saying, sometimes with the tide it can take someone all night. Sometimes they don't come at all. That's creepy. Dun dun dun.
And actually that's when that was the moment I saw like, okay, yeah, something is wrong with Muffy now. She just went wacky.
She just went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Not in a good way.
Yes. Looney Tunes.
So Harv is asking about guns in the house, and Muffy's like, well, we don't have guns in this house, and blah, blah, blah. So Harv's like, okay, fine, whatever. Goes up to his room, and sure enough, Harv has a gun in his suitcase. So somebody came prepared and proceeds to stuff it behind his pants. And this is when everything flashes forward and everybody goes off, and, Nikki up in the bedroom with Chaz and finds out that he's been stabbed in his
pecker,
or it's been lopped off, or we don't know exactly what happened to Chaz's pecker, but whatever it was, it's not good because there's blood. So then the door closes in Nikki's bedroom where she's staying, and that's the last time that we see Nikki. So Kit and Rob go up to the attic because Rob wants to get up there so he can get a good vantage point so he can keep an eye out for the constable. Meanwhile, while they're up there, they talk about the phone call that Rob had with the constable earlier and how he was saying that everybody should stick together and nobody should be left alone.
Muffy.
Nobody should be left alone with Muffy. She's dangerous. She's not to be trusted. Blah, blah, blah. So...
And Kit was trying to say something along the lines of like, well, that can't be right or whatever. And Rob said something along the lines of, well, the constable has known Muffy more than they have.
Yeah. So while they're up there in the attic, Kit notices behind them, as you would come in the door, that their dolls are up in the attic. And she's like, well, Muffy must have been up here. She had to have been up here because, look, the dolls are up here. So she goes over to get a closer look to further inspect the dolls, to find all of the dolls are up there of everybody who's there, that Arch and Skip's severed doll heads are in a bowl of water with Nan's doll's body. And then she looks over to find Nikki and Chaz's doll bodies covered in red paint, supposed to be symbolizing blood. And everybody else's dolls are fine at this point. So then she's just like, well, this isn't right. Look at this. Something's wrong here. So they go... the flare goes off,
Yep, thinking that the constable was here.
Yep, to symbolize that the constable's supposed to be there. So they run downstairs to try to wrangle everybody up to get everybody out of the house. And at first, Kit can't get into Nikki and Chaz's room, and they go to try to get what was it? They try to find everybody else, tried to find Muffy, couldn't find Muffy, couldn't find Harv. And then they try to go back to... Then Rob comes in and finds Kit, and they go back to try to open Nikki's door again. They open it, and they find bloody sheets. It doesn't show us what happened to Nikki and Chaz, but you can guess by the bloody sheets and the dolls in the attic what...
That something bad happened.
Something very bad happened. So, at this point, Rob is like, screw Muffy, let's get out of the house. And Kit's like,
right. No, she's my friend.
And she proceeds to go to get into Muffy's room to try to get Muffy. She has trouble getting the door open. Rob has to help her force the door to get open to find...
Rob hanging
No, Harv.
Getting named screwed up again. Now, see, Stacey's got me now messing up the names.
Yeah, sorry.
Why am I the only one getting the names right tonight here?
Yeah.
Harv, okay, so anyways, Harv is in...
Let me do a take two. That was Harv hanging from the ceiling, all tied up in a nice little bow.
Yep. His hands and feet were bound. He was hanging by his neck.
And that's when they basically get out of the house.
They get the hell out of Dodge, and they're like, screw this, we're getting out of the house. So they go down to the docks to find the boat.
But instead, they find what, Stacy?
This is when they find those papers, basically a clue saying that Muffy is crazy, and it's not really Muffy, but it's her twin Buffy.
Right.
That's when they come to that whole like kind of analysis after like reading the papers and everything, right? And then after that, that's when they are like chased by different people, and I believe Kit is chased by Muffy/Buffy. No, not
right.
Kit, right? Kit.
Yep, Kit was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's when Muffy/Buffy kind of like storms in there, chasing her with a knife, and Rob, he's chased by, was that Skip? He was chased by
Buck.
Buck. Oh, I always forget Buck. Sorry, Buck.
She wants to call him Skip, but his name is Buck.
I know, Buck. So yeah, and then Rob is being chased by Buck, and then that's when Kit, like she kind of dodges the knife, or maybe Muffy/Buffy kind of misses her on purpose, and she stumbles into the living room, and to see everybody is there just sitting around talking, having a good time, not hurt, not dead, not looking like anything's wrong. And then that's when she's finally like, screw you all, and they're like, April Fools. And then Muffy's psychotic ass comes out in her soft, innocent voice, April Fools.
Playing with a knife that isn't real, that ends up being a retractable prop knife. Looks like Rob and Kit got the bad end of this whole situation because they were the only ones that were unaware of what was actually going on. They thought that everything that was happening was all real, when in all actuality it was a rehearsal for a whodunit sort of clue type idea that Muffy wants to do for her house in order to keep it. Kind of like a whodunit weekend type of thing.
Right.
As a way,
excuse me, but I would have been like, "Fuck you and your whodunit, whatever, you bitch." I would have totally said that.
I would have been like, I totally would have killed you because you were trying to kill me. So if that happened, then whoops.
I probably would have lashed out at her and tried to rip her head off.
Yeah. I would have fought back. If somebody was trying to kill me, I would have been fighting back.
Well, speaking of fighting back, we kind of had that moment because while Kit was being chased around by, quote, Buffy, Rob actually got locked into the closet. And during the with Buck, actually. Buck just comes out of nowhere, basically, with his...
Scares the shit out of him.
Basically, his boat accident special effect makeup that he has on him. Freaking Rob the hell out to the point where Rob actually punched Buck in the face. And then Buck takes off the makeup just to place it on Rob's face. Just to slap it
on his face.
And that's basically when Rob gets the joke, too, after he comes running in screaming into the living room, too, and realizes everybody's okay. Which, he's like, seriously? And, yeah. Basically, that's about it. But let's back up for a minute, because before the chase scene, Stacy, you forgot one little last clue that was in the house before the chase scene.
In the basement.
In the basement. Do you remember what Kit and Rob found in the basement?
There were a couple of... there were like 3 things they found in the basement.
I know there was that wall with like everybody's names on it, right? There was one.
Muffy and Buffy's heights in the basement. And then they found Muffy's clothes all bloodied up in the furnace or the wood stove in the basement. And then behind the painting, the weird-ass creepy painting with the eyes cut out, what did they find?
Muffy's head.
Muffy's severed head.
That's right.
Which made them made them go, well, oh shit, it's not Muffy, it's Buffy that's killing everybody.
Yep. So that was technically the last clue in the house. In the whole whodunit weekend rehearsal. Basically. But we're also forgetting one little additional scene that Stacy remembers too, which is the very, very end, after everybody is celebrating, after Muffy is explaining this whodunit weekend thing, who was involved, who Buck really is, which is a special makeup guy who did all the props. And who Skip
really is, which is actually Muffy's brother.
Yeah, who was playing as Muffy's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after all said and done, and everybody had their own bottles of champagne, what was the final scene, Stacy?
So, this is actually my second favorite scene. This is when Muffy, her, drunken ass, stammers up to her room, and she's relaxing on her bed when she sees a box, a present. She goes to open the box, and it's like a Jack in the Box. She goes to start winding it up and winding it up and winding it up. And then someone jumps from behind her and slashes her throat. And she's just like, all distressed. She's like, oh my God, oh! Only gonna find out it's real. And the bitch is just as smooth and innocent as her April Fool's kiss.
The end.
The end.
And can we just point out the winking Harley Quinn China doll thing at the end of the film too? Am I the only person that noticed that?
I think you're the only one that noticed that.
You're the only one.
You're gonna have to rewatch the end. Okay, rewatch the end. After Nan pulls that prank on Muffy. Watch, there's this creepy ass Harley Quinn clown doll.
Oh, that was
on the bed.
On the bed.
That winks. One of the eyes actually wink before it goes to credits.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't the Jack in the Box clown. Whoa. Uh-oh. Maybe something else was going on.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
With that being said...
That was April Fool's Day.
That was April Fool's Day, in a nutshell. We pretty much broke it down for you guys.
Which was so much better than what we did 2 days ago.
A lot less ums and
That's for sure.
And...
I don't remember what happened. Yeah.
Sometimes, admittedly so, we do not have our shit together. We try to the best of our abilities, but...
With the way the world is nowadays, it's kind of hard, too.
It's kind of hard with this insane pandemic going on right now. We're all trying to keep our wits about us and not end up with cabin fever. So we try to do things like this to keep our sanity while keeping ourselves safe.
Why so serious?
So, stay at home. Stay safe.
Eat your vegetables.
Stay out of big-ass groups.
Make sure you have your ding-dong in your pants.
Oh, Jesus. Make sure you're wearing a chastity belt so nothing happens to your ding dong. Actually,
you don't want to end up like Chaz with a lost pecker.
Yeah. You don't want that.
Come on. What did Chaz say right before we never see him again? Quote.
Come and get it.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh my god.
Alright, so after seeing it for the second time of rewatching for this re-recording of this episode, how do you ladies feel now about rewatching it?
I think it's like a campy, funny kind of horror type thing, if you want to call it that, or thriller or whatever.
Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it for shits and giggles, honestly, because it really makes you, like, if you've never watched it, it really makes you think in a way. But, like, it's so freaking, like, the end of it, you're just like,
wow,
what the fuck just happened?
You're kind of like
what?
in the same head boat of Kit and Rob.
It's like, wait, what? So all this bullshit right here was just
fake.
Just fake?
Damn.
My sentiments exactly. After all of that, and she comes out like, I'm doing this because I want to show my dad that this house can stand on its own. I'm like, bitch, fuck you and your dad.
Fuck you and your play.
And fuck this house, okay? Fuck your inheritance. I will kill you, okay? Do not fuck with me. Like, why couldn't you just, like, jump out from around the corner and say boo like a normal person?
No, they have to take April Fool's Day to the highest extreme.
Yep.
Oh, man. You know, she has such cool friends. Such cool friends.
She does. And one thing that I was actually wondering too is like, so how did Harvey get distracted to the point where he didn't like accidentally shoot his gun at like Muffy or somebody? Because we did see that he did pick up his gun, like Tessa was saying.
Yep, he was armed.
He was armed. So how did he not get a chance to fire a round off? Is what I'd like to know.
Oh, and here's another thing. We also were saying while we were watching the film, where the fuck is everybody hiding that gets picked off one by one while all this other shit is going on so they're not being seen in the house at all by anyone? Where the fuck is everybody hiding that's getting picked off?
And another interesting fact.
Right?
And another interesting fact, if anybody was paying attention, that I finally figured out or caught on to a little bit on the second time around, was Nan. At the very beginning of the film, when everybody's trying to get onto the ferry, and she's talking with Kit for the first time, Nan is talking
about Muffy's
acting. How really good she is with acting. And then you finally, find out that all this stuff at the very end was nothing but a big acting thing. That it was just like, wait a minute. Kit didn't remember Nan talk about her great acting.
Muffy, you know who she reminded me of? You've seen Scooby-Doo, you know. The one who's the culprit who is never at the scene of the crime until after the crime happens, and they're just coming in like, what happened? What's going on?
Oh, yeah, I know
that's Muffy. That's Muffy. She's always coming up like, what's happening?
About?
Right. I'm just like, oh, this bitch is on something. She is definitely.
Oh, boy. Oh, this bitch is gonna die now.
I'm sorry, but if it were me going toe-to-toe with Muffy, I probably would have laid her ass out or probably found something to stab her with if she was trying to kill me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Kit didn't have the right mindset to try to grab something.
She's just, like, trying to plead with her. Like, please, don't do this. Don't do this. Bitch, don't stand there and try to fucking plead with somebody who's got a goddamn knife. They don't give a shit.
Especially a knife that Muffy has.
You pick up that goddamn dining room chair and you like hit her with it. You find something to throw at her ass. Find a weapon. Don't stand there and try to like, oh please, don't do this.
Don't kill my pretty face.
You don't have to do this. Oh, jeez, I'm fucking grammars. I can't.
I will do anything.
I can't.
Yeah.
You gotta
It's
love the
amazing.
80s, though. You have to love the 80s.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a great cheesy,
Campy
movie.
horror.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays we can look and just laugh because it's, it's 2020 now. It's like things are more advanced, cinematography and, just technology and everything. So everything is more advanced, but I mean...
You miss the classics, though.
Yeah, it's nothing like the classics. No matter how campy they are. At that point in time, they were, they were like movies of today. They were good for that point in time.
Yeah, and April Fool's Day did get a remake or a reboot or something. I'm assuming. I just don't know what year it was, but I did find that out today, too.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you which one were we watching at first, but then I assumed it was the original.
Well, we could always do it. We could always do another episode and do, like, the remake.
Yes,
for that
we can
episode.
do the original versus the remake.
So we could actually do an episode on the remake, Stacy, too.
Yes, we could.
Oh, yes, awesome.
Well,
there's an idea for you.
I already knew that. I already had that figured out when I knew there was a remake.
No, but I was just trying to show
yes, thank you for the idea, babe. Yes, thank
initiative.
you very much. And for everybody, I hope you enjoyed listening because I already know I'm going to get a crock pan right between the eye pretty soon. Anyway, I have no further comments except for please help me if I am not on the next episode. Come find me because Tessa maybe had buried me and fed me to the cats. Anyway, on that note, I guess lock your door, put on your favorite S&M mask, and go. I guess come and get it. I guess I don't fucking know.
How is she not? Stacy, how are you not laughing right now?
I am laughing. I just had to.
And this is my life every day with this man every day.
Oh, S&M, huh?
Oh, gee, you too.
Well, okay. With that being said, we hope you enjoyed the episode. I was Tessa Baker.
I was Podolsky.
And we were joined by our co-assistant host,
Stacy Cox.
And until next time, boys and ghouls,
stay scary.